Hi there, welcome to another video from the Vickers MG Collection and Research Association. It's been a while since we've done a proper Vickers video, so apologies for that, but we've got we've had so much else going on for the last few months that it's been difficult to get the time in front of the camera. But this video hopefully is a nice little sort of relaunch in a way of the Vickers content, and it introduces something that is as new to you on camera as it is to us actually. So what we're going to do is a little bit like an unpacking video. So this is our first look at a new Vickers machine gun in the collection. Not new obviously, but new to us. And it's something that's quite scarce and rare. Not aware of certainly that many in the UK, and certainly not in private collections like this one. So or independent collections, not private, but independent collections like this that have no external funding other than our patrons. We've got no government funding, blah, blah, blah. I could talk about funding all day. Please do support us if you can. Go and have a look at the books, etc. If you want something tangible for your support other than just the patronage. So what we've recently purchased, recently won in auction, came up in the UK. And it's a Vickers, as you'd imagine, as this what this video is all about. But it is one of these Vickers. This is a Colt model of 1918, an aircraft Colt machine gun, and we haven't taken it apart yet. It's in firing order, so it's one of our Section 5 weapons, our prohibited weapons. And at some point, I'm sure we'll get it firing. I'm not sure what caliber it is. I think it's probably still the original 30-06, but it may have been converted to 303. There are some indicators of that from that first look, and say we haven't had it apart. So it arrived in this condition. It's missing its crosspiece. It's had all of the aircraft synchronization gear stripped off it, but you can see the evidence of it. The interrupter gear and everything would have been here. It's still got the holes in the top. Obviously the lightning or the air cooling on the louvers on the water jacket are all there. The barrel casing, you can see the front of the barrel casing there as well. And it's been fitted with very, very rudimentary sights as well. So it's got a rear sight and it's got a foresight that's been welded on. That's been welded on above some of the markings. So we'll have a close look, but we've got some of the markings here. So I thought you could, I can have a close look at the camera, take the camera off the stand, have a close look around it, do it as one of our gun study videos, and you can learn as much about it as I can. We do have a Colt model of 1915, an M1915 in the collection now, which we haven't shown on camera yet. That's also in firing condition, so we will do that at some point. So yeah, we're really pleased to actually have two American-made Vickers machine guns, commonly sort of unknown actually that the Colt made the Vickers. So this model of 1915 is the ground gun, and then the M1918 also available in 11mm. So these are both in 30-06 or probably in 303, possibly in 303. And I'll explain more about why it could be in 303 as we go through the video. But simply, if I forget, many of these were converted for ground guns for the Home Guard during the Second World War. So the British bought a series of Vickers machine guns from the United States, US surplus, and bought them to support Home Guard forces, which were largely armed with .300 or 30-06 weapons. So the Browning automatic rifle, the pattern 1917, or the model 1917 rifles, which were an Enfield design. Lewis guns in .300 as well, so they were and then Browning M1917s too. So they were largely in .300, and so they bought American Vickers that supported that as well. But then as the war progressed, many were converted to 303. These aircraft guns actually had a special crosspiece, and we've got a few photos of that from one that came up for sale. But also those are appearing out of the canals in the UK. They're water recoveries. So obviously completely rusted through. This is all gone in most of those cases. But they do, you know, they come up and then they've got this handle that sticks out the side that you can see from those pics. And that was a conversion done to make the ground guns fire very simply without lots of machining. So yeah, it's something we may replicate on this gun actually. It'll be simpler to replicate than a proper, you know, a full cross piece. So we may replicate that rudimentary cross piece as part of the history of this gun. But yeah, let's take a closer look at it. Before we do anything else, let's take a closer look at these markings. So what we've got there, you can just see model of, and then we can get the light, 1918 here, and then we've got Colts, PT, FA, manufacturing, Hartford, CT, Connecticut, USA. And then the serial numbers number NO 14856. And we've got 1918, inspector, and then an inspection stamp there. You can see this foresight here as well actually, and how it's welded on. Yeah, we'll take the camera off to have a closer look at that. But there's the markings, so model of 1918 gun. So as we have a quick look all the way down the gun, we can see, yeah, this foresight's a little bit better. It just looks like a rivet or something there put into it, and then it's welded onto the barrel casing. But that, you know, it's either been, I don't think this has been repainted recently. I think it's been repainted after that work. So it's got this this finish off on it that I'm going to say is an original finish. You've got nothing underneath it, other than it's had a couple of scrapes here on the flutings, and then you've got the louvres as well. So the louvres extend, and we've got this big section cut out the back of the louvres and into the back of the barrel casing there. So that's different to the Mark 1 Star. The British Vickers, the British aircraft Vickers that we've also got in the collection and haven't shared on camera yet. So yeah, we've had quite a few new things arrive since we last did some serious gun studies. And you can see that we've got no hole here for water draining because it was made like this. Say rather than converted from a ground gun. So the Model 8 1918 was made like that. And then we've got all of these holes in the front end too. So this would be the hole that traditionally would be where the steam tube goes, and it's not even threaded for that. So yeah, and then we've got outer casing muzzle attachments missing. Need to look at what we can do in terms of getting an appropriate one for that. It does just seem to have the standard British chain pin there, or the securing pin. Or is it going to go back in one-handed? No, it isn't. Of course it doesn't. But it does have the Colt flat-sided muzzle cup. So the British one is slightly different in that it has the grooves that fit into the combination tool. Combination tool goes on the inner ring there. This one just uses flat side, so you can do it with a normal spanner. And then, yeah, so we'll have a look at that. So that's a Colt piece rather than a British piece at the very least. We've got a fusee cover on it that may, so when I had a first look, actually the fusee on the inside, it has a VSM stamp. It's not, so many Colt and Vickers made parts are interchangeable. Some are not, obviously, because of calibers and manufacturing differences, but many are. And actually you get lots of, the British bought the Colt surplus parts as well in the Second World War and actually had them make them. So so we do actually have quite a lot of Colt made Vickers parts for 303 guns in the collection or in the stores. So you can see this is where the serial number would normally be on a British gun, but that's removed because we've got the serial number at the front end there. So coming back, we've got the slots cut out here and here, which fit all the interrupter gear. We've got a slightly different fixing pin for the front there, which is sprung here. So not sure if that is original or somebody's just found a pin that fits, but it goes through from the other side and there's a knurled knob on the other end there. The feed block has been put in wrongly, so that's open. And then we can just see the top of the trigger on the lock there. And then this is the rear sight here, that is this rudimentary ground sight. And what's also noticed, we've got a hole in the rear cover lock catch there, which is a bit different. So, and then as I said, we're missing the cross piece of it. Oh, tripod's getting in the way. But on the other side, we have the crank handle, and the crank handle has the original sprung check lever on it as well. So we've only got, what have we got that on? We've got that on the model of 1915, this gun, and also on the Nepalese gun, but clearly that should have been on the early L series guns as well. It's missing on most because this was seemed redundant in the end. And the second pattern check lever is just a simpler construction, doesn't need a spring, you don't need to carry spares for it, etc, etc. So we've got this on a few guns now, which in itself is quite scarce. And then the feed block is a steel feed block with what we're, with no additional cutout here. So the larger cutout appears on ground guns, certainly British ground guns. I'm not sure about the American ground gun, I've never checked. We've got no markings on here at all. And then we sort of go back up the other end to have a look at those louvers from that side too. So that's a sort of once over before we get to have a look inside. So we're also missing the right hand slide as well. We've got some of those spare, so we'll be able to have a look at those. We actually bought it, it was cocked, as we often find with the Vickers. People don't know how to fire off the action or whatever, and obviously this doesn't have a cross piece, so to fire off the action we had to manually pull the trigger back there, but the spring still has a bit of tension in that. So let's take the fusee off the side, and this was disconnected. This is filthy, isn't it? But we can see that that part there, we've got some VSM stamps on that, so yeah, so I'm not sure how original this is to the gun, but it's certainly, fusee covers are not easy to source, nor are cross pieces, and certainly top covers. If anybody knows of any top covers, please do let us know. And can you see on this top cover that the trigger bar has actually had the back piece cut off, so it will no longer engage with the normal cross piece. So that means, oh, excuse me, that means we can't actually fit a cross piece to this gun as is without changing the trigger bar, which is something we could do. Again, we have spare trigger bars, thankfully. But the cross piece that's fitted for the home guard use seems not to need that, so we will have a look at that. I need to get up the other end and take off that cup. Oh, it is hand tight as well, that's good. So again, normally these are threaded all the way to the end, but I think the Colt guns weren't. Somebody that has one of these may be able to tell us. We now need to be able to get that feed block out. So what I'm going to do is see if I can get any turn or twist on that. I can't. That spring is viable though, so that spring's working fine. Let's see if we can use a brain gun hammer, or actually it's a ZB hammer, just to tap that through gently. Is it going to come? No, it doesn't want to come, so that's probably going to need a fair bit of oil or lubricant before we can get any further. So let me go and do that. So a bit of GT85. Let's just give that a squirt in there and there. See what. So this is going to get a proper clean off tomorrow as one of our working days, and well, I expect our members will want to do that. It's the sort of thing that normally, when something new arrives in the collection, it's yeah, quite popular for people to get and have a look at it. Yeah, so it's still quite stiff, so I'm going to have to put a bit of extra effort into this one. There we go. So that's the pin that was in there. Not sure. So it's got the spring along the length, similar to sit pins we've got on the Colt tripod for the US. sorry, for Russia. So no markings or anything on it, I don't think. No markings on it that I can see. There is a swirl there, but I don't think it's anything. So I'm not sure whether that's original or not. And then, yeah, you can see, look, there we go. Now we've got that. That's been rammed down. That hopefully will go back in a lot easier now. Yeah, so that was under a lot of tension because this had been put in like that and then just clamped shut. So there's the feed block. You say all mucky, not getting it clean now. Somebody else can do that tomorrow. Groove cutting now, or is that the interesting? No obvious markings or anything on this one. But then we can get into the barrel and the recoiling portions there. So X63ZX on the barrel. Let's close that up, open that up, see if we take this lock out. What's on the lock? Lock comes out nice and easy. A3493, nothing on the bottom. So that looks like it's a 30-06 rather than a 303, doesn't it? Let's get a couple of rounds and just check. What better to check with than some inert 30-06 that we've got in Aircraft Link. So there we go, look, that's 30-06 gun. Oh, let's get that locked into place. That's, or 30-06 lock still in the gun as well. So that's brilliant. Pleased with that. What else? Let's see if we can get these. Oh, the barrel, how's that barrel kind of come out? Happy? Oh. A little bit reluctant. I think it's probably not been out for a while. Fair bit of rust, surface rust on that. The recoiling portion plate, the side plates coming off nicely. This one has had some damage to it, hasn't it? So not quite sure why or for what reason. So yeah, there's this weird cutout on the side plate here. I don't know whether it's been repaired or just ground down. It's gone up into this area here. Don't know why. Got a bit of corrosion or filth accumulated. Not sure why. If anybody knows, let us know. So let's see what the barrel was like. Barrel is different to a British barrel because you can put a round in either way on these ones. So the Australians do this as well. They have that chamfer on both sides, and I assume that's something to do with the rimmed round as well. So what markings? There's a bit in focus for you. So we've got 63ZX, something underneath it. Nothing on the other side. Anything on the crown of the barrel? No. Nothing there. So it all needs a good clean, but generally in good condition. And then the muzzle. Oh, well, you focused on the wrong thing, camera. There we go. Muzzle, very small thread on it. If you want to see what we're doing with barrels, go and support that Project Sustained Vickers. Yeah, we've got 20 barrels there, 20 brand new barrels that we're acquiring into the collection. So please go and support that to see how we're doing with that. Let's see what calibre it is, see if it'll accept one of these rounds. So these are a pain to take out, but if you've got a lock available, they will just slide off the extractor. You can see that's one of our inerts. We've got a hole drilled in the side, makes it much easier to work out. So yeah, okay. So that's the original 30-06 as well. So that's really good. How do we get around out of the barrel? You use the extractor. That's brilliant. So very pleased with that. All seems to be in order, and we will do more and more research of the lock. Well, actually, that's all matching numbers there. Look. So that's nice. What was it? A3493. Yeah, so pleased to see it. Pleased to have this in the collection. Let's say something very scarce and certainly very rare in the UK. We'll put it back together. We'll get it back on show in the collection for visitors to come and see. So thank you very much for watching. Please do go and support us on Patreon at www.patreon.com/VickersMG and see more as we share more videos and get back into the swing of things with these Vickers videos. But we also have the Thompson being funded at the moment, and let's say those barrels, and something quite special to come possibly at the working day tomorrow as well. So you might see some snippets of that. And sign up to our newsletter as well if you want early warning, and make sure you don't miss anything that happens across all of the different social media platforms and website. So say thanks for watching, like, share, subscribe, etc., and get in touch. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like and share the video and subscribe to the channel. Please support us on Patreon if you're able to, and let us know of anything you'd like to see in the future. I look forward to hearing from you.